Now, what is ZOPA exactly? ZOPA stands for Zone of Possible Agreement. Quite obviously, in order to have an upper hand in terms of negotiation, we need to expand the zone. If the zone is very narrow, then you have very few options and therefore things becomes very stressful. But if there are many possibilities for you to collaborate with the other side, then it's much more probable they will say yes to you. So imagine you are in a situation where your customer tells you that your product or service is priced too highly, that other people are cheaper than yours. Then what do? May I suggest that we need to remember there are two sides to this perspective. On the left-hand side, it is called the logical side, where we go back to the 3 points of quality or satisfaction. Do you still recall what they are? The first, which people love to harp on, is the price or the cost. But don't forget the other two sides. In order to expand the zone, we need to start talking about the time. In certain scenarios, you can imagine, if you increase the cost, then you can reduce the time. For example, in a renovation scenario, you can hire more contractors and therefore the project timeline shortens. And if you want to save money, then naturally they only allocate 2 or 3 manpower to you, then the time is lengthened. So these two have a dynamic interplay with each other. But don't forget there's a third side to this triangle, and that is called scope. If cost is reduced, very often scope should also reduce proportionately. So of course, if a customer says, "Oh, sorry, this is too pricey, can you bring down the cost?" Your answer is yes, if we also at the same time reduce the scope. Another way to reduce the scope is look at milestone. You can say that, why don't we experiment with the next 3 months? You can pay us just 1/3 of the price. If we don't deliver the goods, then of course you can forget about second, third, and third. By doing this, you are increasing the margin of safety and comfort for your stakeholder, and therefore your stakeholder is much more likely to say yes to you than try to commit to a 12 months or 2 years program where they cannot back out. So by reducing the scope, you increase the likelihood that they are willing to pay the price point that you want. So that is a very specific case study of how you can use this satisfaction triangle in order to expand the zone. On the right-hand side, there's also emotion. It goes without saying, in your normal day observation, that when people start to like you and trust you and build better relationship with you, then naturally they will say yes to you even when sometimes things don't make sense. So it's essential that we build emotional connection with people. How so? Through mastery of persuasion. Look back at all the other previous videos which provide the trunk that gives you the fruits. Without the trunk, there's no way. You will always have to rely on very logical methods in order to expand the zone. But the moment you expand and strengthen the trunk of relationship, that provides a bridge between the roots and your fruits. And in that scenario, you have a lot more power to expand the zone of possible agreement.